Hi guys! So I just wanted to make a video talking all about my pregnancy. So I am today, as of today, 9 weeks along, and I am so over the moon excited. And that's not to say that there have been a lot of things going on with me, but I will talk about that in another video. But basically I wanted to talk about me finding out I'm pregnant, what John thinks, so John's my fiance, what just kind of has been going on and how I found out and how I knew I was pregnant even before I took my test. So basically John and I have been together for quite a while now, like over a year and a half, I would say, because we're in May right now, so like almost a year and a half. But him and I, like, our relationship is everything. Like, you know, when you meet the person that you know you're gonna be with for the rest of your life, like, you just know. And it's more than just like, oh, I'm infatuated with you and we're gonna be together for a long time and kind of that like honeymoon phase goes away. This is like real raw, like twin flames. Like, he is my spiritual running buddy, not running bunny, but he is seriously just such a beautiful light in my life, and I am such a beautiful light in his, and together we have created such a beautiful relationship. So basically it wasn't until, so we're in May now, as I was saying, so it wasn't until like March, well, it was a little bit before that, where I decided that I'm going to move out to Florida with him, because up until this point we've kind of been like long distance, kind of. So he would be gone for like a couple weeks out of the month, and then he would fly back, and then we would spend the rest of the month with one another, and then he would go out, and this was all for work. And so it would be hard like the first couple of days that he was gone, because like my best friend had just left, and then he would come back and we kind of would get adjusted to each other, and then it would be amazing, and then he'd leave again. So it started to get challenging because we got more involved with one another and we started to fall head over heels with one another. So it just got super challenging to like go in and out of each other's lives. Like, we just missed each other so much, and we're like, something has got to change where we're like constantly with one another. And so I made the decision, and we had gone through a lot of experiences together. We had gone through trainings together. We had gone through just life experiences together, where I started to learn how to trust my heart. I started to learn that I could trust myself, that I completely trust myself, and I completely can trust him. And so what ended up happening was I just felt this deep desire in my heart to move with him to wherever he was going, and that just happens to be in Florida. And everyone, well, not everyone, a lot of people were so supportive, and like my amazing friends. Like, guys, let me tell you, I have the best support system. Like, my best friends are my family. Like, that is for sure 100%. My family is amazing. I've done a lot of healing with them, and my cousins are amazing, and so it's just been an amazing time. There are of course people like around me that would just like put in their 2 cents, like, are you sure you're like wanting to leave like for a person? And I'm like, this is more than just like a guy that I just met. This is my soulmate. And I feel like a lot of the times that's what society is scared of nowadays, is to admit that there's a huge, that we have genuine human connections with other people. Like that we are so scared of that. And like, what's the alternative? The alternative is being scared and never going after something that could be so beautiful, and never knowing, because like, oh my gosh, like what could happen? Like, oh man. And that's what I would tell everyone. I was like, even if I hate it, even if I go out to Florida and it's like the worst thing that's ever happened, so what? Like, I'm not a tree, even though I call myself Tree, and like John calls me Tree, and a lot of people call me Tree, but I'm saying like literally I can move. Like, I am not a tree planted somewhere that I can't move. So like, why not just like go and explore and travel? So some people were just like, what are you doing? And I'm like, living my life. And so that's what I did. So it was like in March, the end of March, or no. March 15th. March 15th was my last day at my old job, and I decided to move with John out in Florida, and it's been the best decision ever, despite like all of these hormonal things that are going on, and that's because of the pregnancy. Despite all of that, it's been the best for me as personal growth. It's been the best for us as growing together. I've gotten even closer and stronger with my family friends, and it's just been such a good experience all around. And we're not just stuck in Florida together forever. Like, we're gonna be traveling even more, just depending on what adventure comes next. Like, it's not just like we're stuck, and that's for everyone. You're not just stuck where you're at. Like, that's what we often get in our minds, is that we're stuck in one place, but that's not the case at all. And so that's what happened in the middle of March. And then we traveled on out here. We got all settled in by the end of March. Oh, and when the 2 days after my last day at my job, we had gone on a camping trip in Moab, Utah, because that's where we're from. And we had gone on an amazing camping trip with our best friends, and it was cool because we had like done the training like earlier in the day, and our friends had gone out there the night before, or the day before, had spent some time camping, and then we had gone out there the next night after our training, and then just spent like a night there. And it was amazing because, well, overall, like any time I spent time with my friends, like my friends' family, because let me tell you, there's a difference between like hangout friends, we're gonna hang out and like party and whatever, like get drunk and blah blah blah, and there's a complete difference between those friends and friends where you're like genuinely connected, genuinely having soul connections. And those are all my friends. Like, seriously, like I can talk about them for 90 hours. If you're around me, I will start talking about them. And I just love them because it's when your souls connect and you're able to talk forever about galaxies and everything, from galaxies to unicorns to just anything happening in the present moment. So that was an amazing moment. Then the next morning, as we were all packing up to leave, we were going to go to Goblin Valley from where we were at. And as we were all packing up, we had just a few things left. And then we were all kind of like going around the like where the campfire was. I think it was still going, or it might have been out, but all of our friends were hanging around. And John had the idea to propose then, and it was the most amazing moment of my life. I was speechless, and I was just like, is this real? Like, is this happening? Like, what? And it was the most perfect moment with all of the people that I love. And that's what I'm talking about. It's that soul connection that John and I have that is so different than anything I've ever felt in my life. And he like made it into a song, and like I was saying, like my name is Tree, like to a lot of people that love me, or a lot of people that are around me. He like put it into the song Don't Worry, Be Happy, and he had our buddy on the guitar and our other best friend on like the drums, and I was like playing the tambourine because he was like, because I love the tambourine, and he was like, here, use a tambourine, and I was like, okay, just like totally like in my own world. Like that happens to me all the time where I'm just like, woohoo, like life is great. And so I was just playing the tambourine and everyone was there like just hanging out, and he started singing and he was like, hey, Tree baby, and he's like, will you marry me? And I was like, that's not how the song goes. What? And I like freaked out. Well, I was in shock. I was like stoic. I was like, and it was just amazing, and we kissed, and it was like, I was just in shock, and like it was with all of our amazing friends, and oh my gosh, it was just like the most incredible time. And then like we just had the most amazing time. Then we went to Goblin Valley, we hung out, we climbed, and we like traveled back on our adventures back home. And that was an adventure. There was just a bunch of stuff that happened, but it was just so fun. Then, like, have your cheeks ever hurt from smiling so much? Because mine do that all the time, especially since like I've just been embracing just like being happy and just enjoying every moment and not letting my mind control my life. So basically after that, like, we were just living our lives and everything is amazing, and we road tripped from Utah all the way to Florida. And John made this amazing video with us just traveling. It was so much fun because he had told me that he had never been on a fun cross-country trip before. And I was like, you know what? We're gonna make this trip the most amazing trip that's ever been tripped. And we like set our intentions of like what the trip was gonna be like, and we just put that out there, and that's what we created, was the most amazing trip. We went to a yoga studio in, was it Nebraska? I can't remember where our yoga time was, but it was just amazing. I think it was Nebraska, or Nebraska is where it was freezing, because he like put in his video, in the video he made, he's like, Nebraska, like it was freezing cold. So that might have been it, but it was just so much fun. Like it was just the most incredible time. And so we road tripped all the way to Florida, and then while we like spent a couple, like our first like couple of weeks in Florida, I was so not myself. I just became so emotional and up and down, and I thought I was going crazy. And I was like, what is going on? Like, this is not like me. I like being my like Teresa self, because I've done a lot of work on anxiety, fear, depression, done a lot of work within myself, spent a lot of time in therapy. And so I was like being my normal Teresa self. I was like, okay, this is my plan. This is how I'm gonna stay happy. I'm just gonna consistently go to yoga, change my mindset, run, eat healthy, drink a lot of water. Like, I had this whole plan, and I was like, why do I feel sad about it? Like, what is going on? And it wasn't that I felt sad, it was just like I couldn't find a baseline for myself, and I hadn't felt like that in so long. So I was like, what is going on? And so I just like spent like, I would say like 4 weeks like that. No, it wasn't 4 weeks. It was like, I would say like probably 3 weeks like that. And it came to like my birthday time, and our amazing friends out here set up Disney World for us. So we went up to Disney World for my birthday, and it was the most incredible time. And I was just sitting there, or not, whatever. I was just like having the most incredible birthday, and I was like, why am I so tired? Like, because I do so many things to like just stay energetic and stay in my highest state. And I was like running each day and doing yoga, and I was like, why am I so exhausted? Like I can like fall asleep sitting. And I just remember thinking that, and I was like, it's whatever. And I just remember feeling so just like different. Like that's the best way I can describe it. I just felt different. Not myself, like not my like super like bubbly, like everything is amazing self. And I was like, what the heck is going on? But I just thought nothing of it because it's my birthday. And like, that was just the most incredible birthday, by the way, because if you ever want to feel amazingly special on your birthday, go to Disney World, or I'm sure Disneyland's the same. I've never been to Disneyland, but I will eventually. But just getting the birthday pin and everyone telling me happy birthday, I was like, for a second, I was like, how do they know it's my birthday? And then I remembered my birthday pin. But everyone is so sweet and so nice, and John and I are vegan, so they like, at every restaurant that we went to, our buddy, like he's amazing. He set up reservations for breakfast and dinner for my birthday, and everywhere we went they were like, oh yeah, if you have vegan like restrictions or whatever, we can get that for you. Like anything that we asked, they were just like, oh, here you go. And I was like, what? Like Disney World is the most magical place on earth, and the fireworks show, like holy crap, just everything was amazing. And I can go on and on about that, like holy cow. But then, so like we just had the most amazing time. We spent from like the beginning of the day all the way till the end of the day there, and it was so fun, and it was so cool to hang out with our buds. And then we went home, and the next day I was just like so feeling sick, and I was like, what is going on? And I remember hanging out on the couch of our house, and I was just like, I'm gonna puke. I was like, guys, like I'm gonna throw up. And my buddy, like, we were talking about that later, and he was like, I was about to ask you if you were pregnant. And I was like it would have just been funny if he had, because I wasn't even like really thinking about that. I thought I had just gotten like sunburn and like tired from being out in the sun all day, because like my temperature kept going back and forth. I would get super freezing and I'm like, where's a blanket? And then I would get super hot and I'm like, like get everything away from me. And then I just felt so sick, like I was gonna puke in like 2 seconds, but like I wasn't actually puking, and I was just so tired, and I was like, what the crap? And that was the day that I worked out so much, and I was like, usually when I work out a lot, I'm like, whew, on top of the world, but I felt so bloated. And I was like, okay, my period has to be coming up. And it was supposed to be coming up. So I was just waiting for that to happen, because like it felt like that, but not really. I just felt heavy all over. And usually with my period, I'll feel like stomach bloat. And so I was like, this is so weird. And then the next day, I went to yoga, and John had come with me he was gonna go in with me, but then he told me like right as he was dropping me off that he had work stuff to do. And so I was like, okay, like I'm just gonna go in and do my yoga. And he had waited out in the car, and I was like doing my yoga. And I just remember still feeling so tired, and I was in a pose, I think it was like baby cobra or upward facing dog, where I was on my stomach. And I just remember like, and this is like me being in tune with myself, because I just remember thinking, I need to like stop being on my stomach because I'm pregnant. And I was like, what? Like what? Like why would I just like have that thought or that download? Like what's going on? And I was like, oh my God. I was like, I must be pregnant. Like because I get a lot of messages like from meditating so much, because I've meditated every day for I think a year now. Every morning I don't miss it, and just throughout the day I'll just like open myself up to messages, and they are very accurate. And so I just knew that I was pregnant. And then I went outside after my yoga was over, and there John was hanging out in this like little like lawn by the yoga studio, so it was like right behind. And so I was like looking in the car, I was like, where is he? And then he was over there, and I was like, babe, hi. And he was like, come here. And I was like, okay. Because like that's like not uncommon for us to just be meditating out in places. And so he was like, babe, this dragonfly has been hanging around me like the whole time. And I was like, oh my gosh, because my dad visits me in some form of a dragonfly each and every day, like either like physical dragonfly, or I'll see a dragonfly in my mind, like a vivid like dragonfly, or like something will have a dragonfly on it, like either in someone's yard or like on a notebook. Like yesterday I found a notebook. Any form, any shape or form, like it will happen. And I don't know what that's about either, because I don't remember my dad liking dragonflies, but I just know that whenever it's him, like I can feel his presence because he's with me constantly. Whenever I know he's there, like know without a doubt, like he's right there, it's a dragonfly. So he was showing me that this dragonfly wouldn't like leave his sight. And he's like, babe, I was meditating about being a dad. And I was like, and he hasn't like meditated about that before. We haven't really talked about it. Like, I was like, what? So at the same time I was talking to myself about being a mom, he was meditating about being a dad. And he said when he meditated about being a dad, that the dragonfly had gotten closer, like around his head. And I was just like, we're getting a pregnancy test. Like, we're getting a pregnancy test. And kind of scooting back time, we had not been like trying, like I didn't test my ovulation, I didn't like do any of that, but we hadn't been preventing. So we knew we wanted a family. We knew that it was just time for us to have a family. Like, we're just like, we are so close with one another. We are so clicked in with one another, and our souls are together, that it's just time to have a family. That's just like what we felt. And so the baby was completely planned. And I just didn't think it would happen so fast. And he didn't either, but we were just like, holy crap, like let's do this. And so anyway, so we went and got 2 tests, and we went back home, and I was like, it's probably not gonna be positive, like whatever, because like I just like sometimes will like just like think that I'm pregnant just because I like love babies and like I don't know, like it's just always been my dream to have a kid. And so I was like, I don't know like if this is gonna come out positive or if I'm just like nuts, because sometimes I won't trust my intuition, and I'm like, hello, like my intuition has never steered me wrong, and John's intuition was talking about the same exact thing. So like, but anyway, we like both went in the bathroom, because that's totally us together as a couple, me and him, and he gave me the first test, and he was like, hey, this is how you pee, and I was like, okay, whatever. And so I like took it, and I was like, I don't like, it's because I thought I saw on the test that it said I wasn't pregnant, like the other line hadn't appeared yet, and it was like a 2 and 1, I think. No, this one was the cross, and then another line would appear if I was pregnant. And I had just seen the like 1 line, I think, on the right side where that meant I wasn't pregnant, because it was just a circle and then just a line. And so I thought I had just seen that, and so I was like, okay, like not pregnant, like whatever. And so that's what I told him. So I like peed on it, and I was like, look, it says nothing, like it says I'm not pregnant, like see, like whatever, like I'm, you know, like I'm just going through some hormonal stuff, like just whatever. And so I handed it to him, and he's like, really? Because it's saying you're pregnant. And I was like, you're lying, like, because he would joke around with me like that. And so he's like and I was like, you're lying, this is a lie, this. And I just like the same thing, like when he proposed, I was just like frozen, and I was like, this isn't real, oh my gosh. And I was like freaking out. And then we did another one, which is like the HCG test, like the little like square, and same thing popped up right away, said I was pregnant. And I was like, and these weren't like faint lines either, these were like, you're pregnant. And then the HCG popped up pregnant, and I was like, oh my gosh. And we went and got like he jokes around that was 7. I think it was 6. Like, the reason he jokes around at 7 is because 7's my favorite number, so I say everything is 7. And so he's like, you got 7 tests. And I was like, I think it was 6, but and so we just got a ton more, and they all, very apparent, said I was pregnant. And then we got like the one that was like super, like the clear blue that like literally says the words pregnant, and it said pregnant, and I was like, and so ever since then, like, I've been over the moon, he's been over the moon, and so many symptoms. But that's what I'm gonna that's what I'm gonna talk about in my next video. Just like what I've been going through from when I found out I was pregnant. So I found out when I was about 4 weeks pregnant, and then up until now. So now I'm officially 9 weeks today. And so it's been a wild ride. I'm almost at the end of my first trimester. Woo! Heck yeah! But basically, since this video is so long, I'm just going to talk about my symptoms on my next video. But this is kind of just like where I was at all the way up until now, and I've just been enjoying the ride, and I am so excited to be a mama. Like, oh, that baby is gonna be so loved. Already is so loved. I meditate with this baby every morning. We do everything together. We're best friends. So all right, guys, I hope you have an amazing, amazing, amazing day. I love you guys so much, and continue watching because I am just so stoked. And again, my cheeks hurt so much from smiling. I love you guys. Bye.